What up? It's your boy Blake Anthony with the Overreaction Show. Gonna talk about that loss. Bucs fall to 6-4. Bills go to 7-3. The Bucs lose on the road in the cold New York, but it was a fight up until the end. It's tough. Like I told you, these next four games, I said were gonna be tough to stretch. They can win 2 out of the 4. They'll be sitting right where they're at. They've lost the first 2, so they got to get these last 2 to be where I thought they would be at. They've been up. They've done everything up till this point, so let's see if I'm still on track right now. But let's go through the boring stuff, and then we'll get how I feel. And y'all ain't gonna like me too much today because I'm gonna say a lot today. But let me get through the business part. Baker Mayfield, not too great of a showing. 16 for 28, 173, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Tucker had a hell of a day, 19, 106, 2 TDs. White had 10 rushes for 51 yards. Baker actually rushed for a touchdown. Feeling much healthier. Sterling Shepard led the day. Anytime you have Sterling Shepard or Cade Otton lead the day in receptions, you're going to have problems. 4 receptions for 54 yards. Sean Tucker, 2, 34 and a touchdown. Emeka, 5 for 40 yards. Bills, Josh Allen had a hell of a day. I think he had 3 rushing and 3 passing touchdowns. 19 for 30, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. James Cook didn't do much on the ground. And then he's pretty much spread the ball everywhere. Shavers, Cook out of the backfield, Ty Johnson, Gabe Davis. Mikael Harbin also dropped the punt that the Bucs capitalized on. So there's a lot to talk about that. So it's again special teams with those returns, but it's the same. They do one good thing, then they do something bad. Gave up a lot of big yards on kick returns, but then you get a special teams turnover on a muff punt. It's like it can't just be one way all the time. It was good for a good stretch of games, but in this game, special teams resurfaces. So, and for people saying, well, you fire the special teams coordinator, what does that fix? You're still gonna have the same players on the field. Special teams, let me tell y'all go to camp. Like, I don't understand how people go to so many things but know so little. So when you go to camp, you see they have a timer up there and they blow the horn. It's the same thing at practice during the season. You only have a slated amount of time to do certain things in practice. You don't spend a whole lot of time on kickoff, field goals, and stuff like that. They pretty much just run right through it. And on the way the kickoffs are now, you don't have to do waves anymore. That's what people used to do. They used to do the wedge busters. They would do waves. Some people would do lanes. This is just everybody's lined up, and then you just pretty much got to get off your block and make the tackle. They just wasn't doing a good job of that. So firing a coach is not going to change anything because it's going to be the same players playing. They're like, well, get rid of them. They're your backups. Like Sean Tucker plays that. Payne plays that. Cole Keith plays those spots. All your backup players play special teams. So if you get rid of them, you can't. So that's why I'd be like, then the main thing, the Todd Bowles thing. Every time it's like, that's why I'm glad I put that thing out before with the narratives and stuff like that. Y'all are proving my point. You're proving my point about narratives. Don't say a goddamn thing when everything was good. Everything's not bad right now. You're right where you're supposed to be, in the mix of playoffs with everybody on the AFC and the NFC. You're right in the mix with everybody. You're right in the mix. You're right where you need to be right now. You just got to come out, with these last couple games going into the playoffs, barring the injuries. Hopefully you get somebody back this week. They don't know. We'll see. Bucky Irving coming back would be a huge piece coming back, but I know they're trying to let him heal because he took a serious beating in the first couple of games, and he's been out just as many games as he played this year. I try to tell y'all, he's not an all-purpose back. Not the way he's built. Nothing against him. It's just it's a lot, man. It's a lot of beating that you take playing running back in this league, and they'll learn. And then the whole, like I said, you're proving my point with the Bowles narrative. You're full-fledged on out when it's a loss. Look at all that. Look the way they rally together when it's a loss. You would think they were 4-6. You would think they're the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody, I talked to Ron a lot, talking about the whole thing, and everybody, everybody's like, "Oh, you always back up." And Bowles is like, "Yeah, until it's time not to." This ain't. What are you panicking for? You're not 3-6. You're not 4-6 like the Dallas Cowboys. Now, had we had all the weapons and stuff like we had healthy and everything, and we were 4-6, y'all would be warranted to say that, and I'd be like, y'all right. I would say you're right. You're 6-4, and you haven't been healthy at any point of this season. Any point of this season, you have not had all your starters. You had to shuffle offensive line. You have a tight end position that's non-existent. I told y'all, at some point you're going to have to address the tight end position. It's a spot that just doesn't do anything when you need it. You have 0 touchdowns from the tight end position. You're operating at 80% of your offense. I keep telling you, 5 eligible pass catcher. Each person going out for a pass is responsible for 20% of the offense. Without it, you're running at 80% capacity. Now, let's talk about the offense. I said, I'm still not getting on Baker. This offense is dismantled, man. I can't get on this guy trying to fight and scratch and crawl. Same thing with Grizzard. I'm not going to hold y'all to the fire like that. But at some point, Baker, you're gonna have to find out ways to extend drives. I don't know how good your leg is or whatever. We're gonna have to find ways to get these guys open and get the ball to them, much like everybody else. You're gonna have to play a lot of backyard football. I don't think it's gonna have to be a lot of systematically now. You're gonna have to find ways to do it. And I think he can do it. And same thing with Grizzard. They got to come together and find some way because you're without your offense. And I'm talking to people online. They're talking about, well, I just want to compete with everybody else. I said, bro, you can't say that the team has injuries and say you want to compete with everybody else. Bro, you realize you got 7th-round draft picks and undrafted players and people kicked off the team starting on your offense right now. That's your offense. And as soon as they realize you're going to get a make of the ball, they just clamp them down. And nobody else can do anything. You're not getting any production in passing from your running back. You're not getting any production from your tight end. You haven't all year. I've pointed that out. You haven't. You're not getting it from anywhere else. So where is he supposed to go with the ball? What game plan are you supposed to do? They got to figure out something. At this point, I think they need to try more rub routes, pick plays to try to get these guys open, and Baker try to scramble and find it. I mean, it's a lot to ask for, but it's what you got to do to win these games, in my opinion. And like I said, I ain't getting mad at Baker. I'm not holding any of those guys accountable. Y'all they're handicapped on offense. Hurting, man. They're hurting on offense. And they just couldn't hold it any longer to the end of the game. That's why when they get a chance at turnovers, they get a chance at stuff, you've got to score. You got to do everything right. You got to do everything right to win these games. They got turnovers. Unfortunately, they didn't capitalize on all of them, and it hurt them in the end. Mitchell alone giving up 44 points on the defense. They're banged up. Remember y'all was on that problem last week? The media, Tampa Bay, great Tampa Bay media was on that last week. Oh, you're taking reps from Dean. 10 reps you're taking from Dean? 10 reps you're taking from Dean. And then he did what he always does. Another hip injury and missed the whole game. But y'all was making all that noise last week, right? Tampa Bay media, the great Tampa Bay media. That was on that shit last week. And then here he is not playing. But if we don't play Morrison at all, he gets no reps to get better. How do you think they develop these players? By playing them. They have to play because at any moment, their number can be called. And his number was called this week. Moving on. And then what the new narrative is, he said he could stop him. He technically did, but they had the face mask that gave him the first down. It was a great stop. Great play that Parrish made, and then just face mask, and then pretty much that was it after that. It was all she wrote. After that, they needed to score. They needed to score on that drive anyway. Bowles has been more aggressive than I've ever seen him with the 2-point conversions and stuff like that. And they just ain't hitting on him. Like I said, they're depleted on offense, man. They have to do everything right. They have no margin for error with what they're working with on offense. Like I said, I'm not going to beat up on offense. I'm a defensive guy, but I'm not going to beat up on the offense. I know what they're working with. And you see Jason Light, what he said in the past, for all y'all that want to get on Todd Bowles' nuts all the time, he is happy with what he's accomplished with what he's been given. And we all know that they have not been drafting stellar guys on this defense. He's been making it do with thrift shopping players, thrift shopping and developing them. That's how they survived on defense thus far. But it's beginning to run out. Yaya's not producing like you thought he would. Cansey does, but he's out. You're still relying on Nelson. You get hit and hit miss there. Relying on too much of Vea. He does what he does all the time, but the Asian Levante David still producing. Like, that's why you can't trade for anybody, because you have no trade collateral. You guys bitch and moan about making a trade. Who are you trading? You have no assets. When you look at that roster, you don't see a loaded Pro Bowl offense, defense or offensive players loaded everywhere. Who are you trading? And those are the same guys who start that you're demanding to win every single game. Like I told you before, I get that Todd Bowles' expectation is to win every single game. They can't get a yard. They can't score a touchdown. They can't catch a pass. I understand that for the Bowles, because y'all make it clear. That's what your narrative is. Because no matter if he wins or loses, when he wins, then it's, he won against a team that didn't have a winning record. But hold on with that narrative. That you're saying that he can't win against, Bowles can't win, not the Buccaneers can't win. So it's just Bowles doing everything. So Bowles can't win against that. Who's the quarterback? Let me change the narrative a little bit. Who's the quarterback of those teams that can't beat winning teams? So you're saying that Tom Bowles is not a real head coach, so Baker Mayfield must not be a MVP quarterback because he's the one quarterbacking against these good teams. You see how that switches like that real quick? He's the starting quarterback. When he wins, it's all him, right? It's all him when he wins. But when he loses, suddenly you got amnesia. And I don't believe any of that I'm saying. I'm just saying, you want to flip narratives like that? Let's just say, if Bowles can't win, then Baker Mayfield's the quarterback. So he can't beat winning teams, is what you're saying. So he should be cut too, right? See how stupid your narrative sounds? See how stupid it sounds? He's the quarterback, so he can't win either. So he needs to go too, right? He's not MVP, right? Because he can't beat the winning teams for whatever reason it was. It's funny because you'll have those same kind of games between like the Bills and the Chiefs with shootouts like that, no defense being played, but you never hear the things said about them as you hear for Todd Bowles. They could have a shootout and win. Somehow, some way, Todd Bowles is still a bad coach. But I watch the Bills and the Chiefs do the same exact thing, and those coaches are monumental. Bills coach ain't won nothing. Josh Allen ain't won nothing. What's the Bills saying? And nobody circled the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they got the win Sunday, but the better team won. Josh Allen knows how to ad-lib, make plays, and do that. That's what the Bucs gotta have to do with limited offense, because he's limited too. Baker, we have to ride on Baker's legs. I hope he's healthy enough to run around. They're gonna need it, man. They're gonna need it to like stretch and extend plays and find people. And these receivers got to get open for him too. They have to get open for him, because it's getting pretty bad out there, because he's getting time to throw and there's nobody in sight. There is nobody in sight. Nobody open. And then some of the plays too, like Rizard, like the pick, you had two guys. I know what play it is. It's called levels. You have two over routes, and you got to get good space, and the defender was able to recognize it. Once you get to a certain part, when you're a defender and you see a wide receiver get outside the boundary, that the ball has to go literally all the way to the sideline or the window's missed. So he bailed back knowing that would be the next eligible throw, and was able to jump under that over route and pick the play. Again, I don't fault Baker trying to make a good throw. The defender just made a good play, man. Like I said, I'm giving a fair assessment of everything. I don't doom and gloom. I look at things for what they are, and then I give an analysis on it. Like I said, I waited a day to put this out because I wanted to hear a lot of things. But like I said, Tampa Bay media and a lot of you guys making my point. The way y'all rally together in a loss does not match. That energy does not match that in the stadium or in a win. It don't match it. So you make your narrative clear. You say whatever you want to say, but you make your narrative clear. And they're like, oh, well, you're just a sport of him. Yeah, until I'm not. Until I'm not. Until you give this man on this, or not just man, this team what they need to succeed. You watch everybody else with edge rushers. You got the Green Bay Packers. What's the Green Bay Packers record right now? Because their offense and their defense, the way that they got an elite pass rusher and not winning the way they should, I would be on Bowles' ass if they had that. What's Packers record right now? Packers are 6-3-1. So damn near the same as the Bucs. And they got Micah Parsons on the team. They got edge rushers and stuff everywhere. A plethora of talent on that defensive line. And they're 6-3-1. And this man is 6-4 with astronomically less. Astronomically less. Look, I'm going to go into the depth chart right now. I'm going to tell you, because you guys get beside and listen to these jackasses that, I'm trying not to call people that, but I can't help myself today. These jackasses that cover this team and ain't played a down of meaningful football anywhere and try to tell you what things are. Bro, I have these people on this team be at my house all the time when we talk about this. They go to their locker room and get a watered down answer. I'll give y'all the real talk that they talk about with stuff like that. The depth chart. What's that? Depth chart Buccaneers. There we go. Let's take a look at this damn depth chart versus you work with the record. You are 6-4, first place in the NFC South. What the hell are you panicking for? What are you panicking for? So Bucky Irvin, they's got him questionable. So you're relying on you got one of your running backs out, so you're down another running back because you got suspended. So Tucker and White. You got Emeka, Sterling Shepard. Look at these IRs. McMillan IR, Evans IR, Jaden Smith IR. So you rely on Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson, Godwin's out, Ryan Miller. So your receivers are Emeka, Sterling, Ryan Miller, Cameron Johnson, and Tez Johnson. Awesome all-star squad. Cade Otton, man on the milk carton. You got Payne Durham and Kevin Culp. Still don't understand why we don't use Kevin Culp enough. And then you're missing offensive lineman. Brendanson was out. Then you got, Barton. Your right guard's missing. Luke Haggard. And then you got Gadecki back, thank God. Your defense. Cansey out. David Walker out. Marquise Watts was out. Then you got Elijah Roberts, who's showing promise, but there's nothing left behind him. C.J. Brewer. Vita Vea. Elijah Simmons been balling. That big number 92 guy, when he shoots that gap, and he's a rookie, man, hold on to that and keep developing. I didn't realize he was a rookie. The 92, that big dude out there, he's a rookie out of Tennessee. Man, they be one gap, and he's made a lot of great run stops. We can get him to pass rush a little bit. Might be working with something here. Of course, Logan Hall. Then Greg Gaines, we've got a lot of production out of him. Logan Hall, it is what it is. Y'all know that. Chris Braswell is the next Noah Spence. Savarcier been strange, up and down. Then you got Levante, you got Hassan still dealing with injuries, and then you got Anthony Nelson. Dean was out. Then your secondary is Morrison. Your Morrison. There's nobody after Morrison. Jamel Dean, Morrison. There's nobody there. Then your safeties are Winfield, Isian, J.J. Roberts is on IR. Tyke Smith, Kavion Merriweather, Rashad Wisdom's on IR. Then you got Zion McCollum, Kendall Vildor, Josh Hayes. And then you only have one nickel back, and that's Jacob Harris. Bro, this team is decimated. But just go look for yourself. I'm not capping on that. That's what's there on ESPN's website. But y'all demand them to win every game. You're sitting where you should be right now. I don't know where the panic's coming from. Oh, wait. That media that plays on y'all heartstrings, that likes to make y'all be negative about everything, that loves to put people down. I never seen them come at the way they come at Bulls like they came at Dirk Cutter. The way they killed the culture with Cutter. The way they killed the culture with toes on the line. Rutgers coach. Whatever his damn name is. I forget his name. That was terrible times. Killed the coach. Never came at them man the way they come at me. But they come at this man sideways. Craziness won 3 straight divisional titles and has been given less and less and less. and Jason Light told you yourself, I haven't given him the right resources, and he's been making do with what he's got. And then the other one, the soft zone coverage. Bruh, let me ask you a question. If you're covering, let's just say for the dum-dums out there, you'll play press coverage all game long against Chase, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and you know the rush ain't getting there. What you think going to happen to these corners? You don't do that all game. What you think going to happen? And you can't get to them with your edge guys. You can't get to them. Quarterback got all day back there. They're going to have a field day. Well, they're having a field day now. They are. I said, but I will say the only thing that he need to tighten up, the Bulls do need to tighten up, is a lot of big plays happening. And it ain't really him, it's them. Because like I said with the last week with the Patriots, you had the right defense called and they blew the coverage. You had a robber called to cover crossing routes, and you allowed a crossing route to score. And I pointed that out in the clip, the breakdown. I showed you the tape with people staring in the backfield. McCollum got beat over the top by staring in the backfield. That's not a calling the right play thing. That's them screwing up. And that's what's happening in a lot of it. That's so they do got to tighten up, and I'll say that part. But the object is to get to the quarterback, force error throws, get the third downs, blitz, force the ball out, and get the offense back the ball. Yeah, you try to keep things in front of you. You do that because you know your pass rush is lacking. I promise you, if you give Micah Parsons or somebody to this defense, it will look entirely different. It will take a lot of pressure off those corners. A lot of pressure up. NFL is built for offenses now. I'm trying to make sure I got everything. But that's just a lot of it, man. You're sitting 6-4, right where I predicted them to be. Yeah, I said you got to win 2 out of the 4. Or I wanted them to expect them to win 2 out of these next 4. You'll drop the first 2. So now you got to get these last 2. You can't. Now if the fans panic because you lost 4 straight, I ain't going to say a word because they'll be right. The panic, you'll fall to 6-6. And you don't want to be in that position. You want to come out here and get this win against the Rams, which you could do. They don't run the ball a whole lot. Pretty much not much at all. It's going to be a pretty much throwing fest. And they could do it. And then you got the Cardinals. Kyler Murray's out. Jacoby Brissett's going to spin it. Don't know how their injuries going to look like in that game, but they got to get this next one on the road in Cali when they're wondering when they're going to head out there. But you're sitting right where you need to be, man. So stop listening to those clowns that cover this team and making you panic, unless that's who you are, because if you're panicking and jumping off ship off that, you're not really a fan. You're not really a fan. You're a guy that wants to put everybody else down. You're one of those people. You want to jump on and put everybody else down and make everything doom and gloom because that's the way you live your life. But whatever. I'm Blake Anthony. This is the Overreaction Show. Kind of long one, but I needed to say what I needed to say, and I mean what I said. You can hit me up. We can have a conversation. Ron, appreciate you jumping on. We talked for like an hour talking about stuff like that. What should be accountable. Why does this look like that? Why does that look like that? And that was my main thing. He said, well, we get upset. What did he say? We get upset because we want us to be competitive. They're competitive in every game, man. They're competitive in every game with what you have. Give Brizard a break. If you're getting on Baker Mayfield, get a man a break. The offense can't operate the way it was operating because you don't have the tools that you had previously earlier in the season. They're gone. So that means you have to change your offense to fit what you have. And that's a shame that they lost because Sean Tucker had a hell of a showing, but it's in a losing effort. They game plan to run the ball because the Bills couldn't stop the run, and the Bills couldn't stop the run. You're going to do the same thing against the Rams, too. You got to do a lot of play action. Like I said, I think Baker Mayfield really needs to extend a couple of these plays and make some throws. I'm going to have to ask a lot of him in this game. And, boy, if you could pull it out, man, I'm already a fan. I'm going to give you mad praise. You can pull it out, man. Defense, y'all got to tighten up, get some more turnovers to help the offense. If you can get them in the plus side of the field, it would really help. And the offense, they got to push it in, man. You can't afford any mistakes this game. You can't afford them. You got to be perfect. It's hard to do, but you got to be perfect. No dumb penalties. You got to be perfect. You got to take advantage of every opportunity that you get because the Rams are going to give you a fight. That's what I got. I'm Blake Anthony. You're the master theory of everything that you do with your life. Just do is entirely up to you. See you guys next time. Peace.